So I am Victoria Pena. I am the programs manager, Freelance Exchange, and I will be just facilitating. So if you have any questions, you can just drop them into the chat box, and we will make sure to answer them. We will also have some time at the end to go over questions. So just to get started, this is Julie. She is the founder of Freelance Exchange, and she will be talking about leveling up and how to create your elevator pitch.
But I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. And here we go. Let's share this bad boy and see how I can do this. Okay, so today we're going to talk about leveling up your business, how to determine your why, your elevator pitch, and your USP. And I think these are like the three basics that most people forget when they go and they start their freelance business, and then they go and start promoting it. And they're just like at the core of everything that you do and can really help you stand out. So I don't know if I can get this to do a full screen. Let's see, play from start. I can. I was just hoping I wouldn't be a small corner in your screen here, but let's do this. Okay, so let's level up our businesses. Let's put your passion in the driver's seat. Let's figure out what makes you different so you can stand out amongst your competition, and then also how to really rock a sweet introduction when you're out networking, and things that you can even use too in everyday life. So we're going to start today with your why. Is that going to work? Yep. Nope. We're going to start with introducing me. Excuse me. We're going right back. To reiterate what Victoria said, I am Julie Cortés. I am a freelance copywriter by day, freelance rock star by night. I have run my own freelance copywriting business for 22 years. I know this is where you say that I look like I'm 12. But I've worked with ad agencies and large corporations, small businesses, small mom and pop shops all over the board, really helping them up their game when it comes to copywriting. About 5 years into my career, I noticed that there was a void for freelancers, a void in education, in community, and even respect. And so I set out and made it my personal mission to rectify that. In 2003, I formed this here group called the Freelance Exchange of Kansas City to cater to those specifically who are self-employed in advertising and marketing. These are creative types, designers, writers, photographers, illustrators, videographers, and even the non-creative types who work in our industry. The social media pros, the web developers, the new business people, marketing strategists. And it's really become this great community, if you're not familiar or not part of it just yet, where we can lean on each other for support, for mentorship, for continuing education. And then it also provides promotional and social opportunities for us. By default, we ended up becoming the go-to resource in town to find freelance talent. So the ad agencies, the design shops, the corporations, the small businesses, they can all utilize the Freelance Exchange as a free resource that we offer to the community to find the talent that they need. Because I was the founder of the organization, apparently that makes you an expert on all things freelancing. And I started getting all of these phone calls to do interviews on TV and radio and be quoted in magazine and newspaper articles. I was asked to give all of these speaking engagements at local colleges. And it finally dawned on me, and I was like, this stuff needs to be taught in school. I don't know about you guys, but I went to school to become a copywriter, to be an advertising copywriter. I didn't take business classes. They weren't required, nor did I ever think that I would need them. And lo and behold, like so many others who end up out on their own, whether by choice or by default, decided these really needs to be taught. These are skills that need to be taught. And so I went and I formed my own course, and I'm now teaching on the college level at the Kansas City Art Institute as an adjunct professor. I'm now finishing up my 4th year here. In the next week or so, I'm looking at my calendar, in the next week or so, we're finishing up Freelancing 101. So that's been a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden my professional peers are like, Julie, your class sounds amazing. I would love to sit in on it. I was like, well, that's great. You got to go enroll and you have to pay for it. And nobody wants to do that. So I was like, oh, Cortés, light bulb moment. You should open up a coaching arm to your practice and offer those same skills that you're giving to the students to your professional peers. And so I ended up becoming a business coach. I ended up becoming a professional speaker. I ended up doing things that I never dreamt in a million years that I would be doing. But here I am, and I absolutely love it. I love giving back to the community, and I love sharing the things that I wish people had taught me early in my career. So that said, now let's get to your why. First of all, you want to identify your why. What is your why? You may be familiar with this term. There's a gentleman by the name of Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, Simon Sinek, who popularized this term through a book that he wrote. He wrote Find Your Why, a practical guide for finding purpose for you and your team. And he's also given many TEDx presentations on this. So you can do a quick Google search or go to YouTube and search for him. And he does a really great job of explaining your why. But essentially your why is something that gives you great purpose in life, in work, whatever the case it may be. It's discovering your purpose, discovering your passion. What is it that makes you want to get up every day and go to work? What is it that drives that? And this is how you have to figure out what that is. Because when you discover it, it's going to help you achieve your goals. And it's going to help you take your business even further and give you purpose. So think about, why did you get into this business? Why did you study the things that you did in school? Why did you decide to open up a freelance business of doing whatever it is that you do? Okay. Figuring this out is going to provide clarity. It's going to provide guidance. It's going to drive your passion. It's going to give you that motivation, help you keep focused on your goals, and it will help keep you resilient. You know, we all tend to get burnt out every once in a while. This has got to be the one thing that helps you maintain focus. Okay. So when you go to figure out what your why is, first 3 things that I want you to try are, number 1, you want to identify the things that potentially you can do to make other people's lives better or easier. What is it that you can do to make other people's lives better or easier? Okay. Number 2, think about what it is that people ask of you when they come to you for help. What are you known for? What are the things that people thank you for? So think about what it is that people ask of you when they come to you for help. And then highlight the things that you would be willing to go the extra mile for. What is it that you might even consider doing for free or at a discount because you love it so much, or you feel like it's so important to you? Okay, so 3 things. Identify the things that you can do to make other people's lives better or easier. Observe what people ask of you when they come to you for help. And highlight the things that you would be willing to go the extra mile for. Okay, next, having all of that in mind, I want you to ask yourself, if you could teach others, what would it be about? What would you teach them about? If you could get into the classroom, if you could give a presentation. Again, what is it that you know so well or feel so passionately about that you would be willing to do something like that? Where can you add the greatest value in people's lives? Think about your clients, your target audience. Where can you add the greatest value? And what is it that you stand for? What is it that you get up on your soapbox and you preach about? What do you stand for? I have all of these points put together in a checklist. If any of you guys would like these, whether it's for your why, your USP, or your elevator pitch, just let me know. I'll drop my contact information here at the end of the presentation, and I can email those out to you. So it's much easier. So you're not just sitting there scribbling super fast. So I want to challenge you guys with a little bit of homework here before we move forward, and that is to discover your why. Figure out your why. Put your passion in the driver's seat and let it fuel everything that you do. Okay, any questions on why before we move forward? No? Okay. So let's talk about your USP. Anybody want to chime in? Anybody know what USP stands for? You guys are a quiet bunch today. Okay, your USP stands for unique selling point. Or maybe you've heard unique selling proposition. Either way, it's the same thing. And it's marketing speak for what is the one thing that makes you different / better than your competition. Unique selling point or unique selling proposition, your USP. What is the one thing that makes you different / better than your competition? This could be a characteristic of a product or of a service that distinguishes it from the others that are similar and makes it more appealing. It could be about you, it could be about your work. It could be about an ideology. So how do you figure out your USP? Well, first, I would say sit down and brainstorm some ideas. Just jot down whatever comes to mind. There are no bad ideas. Put everything down on paper. Second, and this is very important, and I feel like this is where people miss out on a great opportunity. Study your competition. Figure out who your competition is and go look at what they're doing. Look at their website. Look at their Freelance Exchange portfolio page. Meet them in person if you can, and see if you can figure out what their USP is, and then figure out how you are different / better than them. Think of it from a client's perspective. You know, they're going to sit there and think, well, what's in it for me? Why should I hire you over the other person? And this is what you want to highlight in everything that you do. So you look at your competition, and you want to list your strengths in comparison to them. And there may be several, or there may be one. But don't just look at one person as your competition. Look at several people, whether they're local or not. Reach out and see what other people are doing. List the features and benefits of your service offerings that make you unique. How is your work? How is your style? How is your approach different than everybody else? Is it that your service provides an emotional need? Or is it a desire that your service fulfills? What is the one thing that you can say that nobody else can say? And you really have to dig deep. I do this exercise with my clients, and I find it really interesting because more often than not, I'll be like, well, what makes you different? And they say, oh, we have the best customer service. And I'm like, that's great. Everybody can say that, and everybody does say that. What makes you unique? Why do you have the best customer service? Do you have people answering the phones 24/7 and your competition doesn't? That's it, you know? So dig really deep, you know, and don't just do an overarching thing. Do something really, really deep. You know, what is it that your competitors can't imitate? Maybe, you know, you work in a particular style, or maybe you only work with in a particular niche that nobody else does. That would be really cool. But essentially, successful branding starts with your USP. And once you are able to identify it and determine it, you want to incorporate it into everything that you do. And when I say everything, I mean your brand, your promotions, your website, your social media, everything. Maybe it's even in the way you dress or the way you carry yourself. Okay? The key is to be consistent with everything that you do. Think about even making this an integral part of your marketing plan. And if you don't have a marketing plan, you should definitely have a marketing plan. If you need help with that, let me know. But make sure that this is an integral part of your marketing plan. Think about playing this up in pitches and interviews when you go to meet a prospective client for the first time, or you're pitching them and you know you're going up against your competition. Highlight your USP to help you get ahead. So let me tell you a funny story. There's a gentleman in town, I won't mention his name. He's my fiercest competitor. And the only reason I say that is because we have very, very similar copywriting styles. But I will say we're the best of friends. So that part's not an issue. But I know what makes me unique / different from him. And I play that up to no end when I go in and pitch, when we're pitching, the same potential client. I play it up. And 9 times out of 10, I end up winning the business. So, I mean, it's funny, it works, but he doesn't know my secret. So that's why I'm not sharing his name. So don't tell him. But try it and see if it works for you. Maybe it's even a little game, make you a little more competitive, friendly competition, in your business. Okay, so determine your USP, play it up in everything that you do. Stop getting lost in a crowd, really stand out and gain the advantage by pinpointing this and incorporating it into everything you do, from branding to your promotions to everything you do in your business. So your homework, guess what, guys? It is to determine your own. Determine your own USP. Identify what makes you different / better than your competition. Anybody want to guess what my USP is?
It's your personality.
Yes, it's my personality. Absolutely. I think I have a fun personality, and I play that up in absolutely everything I do. You can tell even in my PowerPoint here, right? I've got these fun colors going on. My logo is plant for the first time. I make sure that personality is shining through, so they know that not only am I going to get the job done and do it well, but we're going to have a good time in the meantime, in the process. We're going to have fun doing it, because why do work if it's boring, right? Let's have fun with it. Good answer, Kelly. Did I share that last year? Is that how you knew that?
I just know you from your posts and just the way you are. Just all about it's part of Julie.
That's me. That's me. Okay. So and you can tell too. What's that?
I think Cordelia also had her hand up.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question, and if you want to wait till we want to save questions to the end, we can do that too. I didn't know your presentation style, and if you like to.
You're fine. I'm casual. I'm flexible.
Okay, very cool. My question is, I am in a town that doesn't have a strong advertising community. Think of like the opposite of Kansas City. I am in a small coastal town. We don't have a strong advertising community, and so what I'm trying to do is I work a lot in the niche of environmental groups and nonprofits, and basically working with people who are making a substantial, really helping to improve things, either culturally, environmentally, socially. So I really have my niche identified. My problem is we have to do more work out of area to do the type of work I want to do without doing it for free, or just bare bones cost. So I'm trying to identify what my identify 1 or 2 key markets, and then I'm trying to figure out how to identify the competition in those markets, because I'm coming in without being local to that market. I'm coming in at a disadvantage, and I might end up having to move. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, trying to determine your competition when your competition is not local, and then trying to gain clients from out of area. Because location
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
well, it isn't, it isn't. I feel like, unfortunately, due to this pandemic, or fortunately, I feel like more and more people are realizing that they can conduct business over Zoom, and do things virtually. I don't think we have to be there in person anymore. Personally, I didn't think we had to be there in person in the first place, but I understand why clients appreciate that FaceTime. But I feel like this gives that FaceTime. It's not perfect, but it works. So I wouldn't discount that per se. Now, going into another market, you're right, you may feel like you're at a disadvantage, or you can flip the script and you can change the narrative and you can look at it, well, wait, you offer a fresh perspective that none of these other people do. You're coming in with an outsider's perspective. And I think that would be something to really focus on and not play as a negative, but more as a positive. This is a strength that you're bringing in. Going to look to see who the competition is in that area. Think about the keywords that you would use on your website if somebody were to do a search for somebody like you, and use those. Do a search, but then add in the city or the area, the town that you're looking to move into, and then see if you can find out who those people are. If they have, are you a designer, Cordelia? What are you?
Yes, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator.
Okay, so maybe if it's a bigger city, maybe they have an AIGA there, and then maybe you can look at the membership of the AIGA and see if you can start researching those people and figuring out what their niches are. It sounds to me as though you have something very unique and not a lot of other people are going to be offering it. So I think that's a positive in and of itself. And then trying to find the clients, that's a whole nother presentation, quite honestly. But I think for now, it is. But I think for now, really the thing is, to just focus on what makes you unique and focus on your promotions. I think that's going to be the best thing for you right now.
Okay. Yeah, and it's such a strange time because, of course, I was going up. The New York AIGA chapter is about 2.5 hours away. So I would go up on occasion for meetings, but there are no more meetings. I can't go and I can't do the networking in person that I would normally do. So.
Are they hosting Zoom meetings? I know some chapters are doing like happy hours and stuff online.
I will check.
Because then you don't even have to drive the 2.5 hours, right?
Exactly.
And you're set. So next up is your elevator pitch or your elevator speech. Okay. This is something, again, that a lot of people forget about that is so integral when it comes to marketing yourself as a freelancer. You want to be ready when somebody asks you, what is it that you do? And this question comes up all the time, not just at networking events, but even at parties. So you want to be prepared and make sure that you have something carefully crafted. Now, why do they call it an elevator pitch? Anybody got an answer?
You only got 30 seconds while you're on the elevator to give it.
Right, because it can take the time of writing up an elevator to give it. And that could be anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, so think about that timeline when you're writing your pitch, 30 to 60 seconds. It's a simple yet powerful tool that really isn't very long. Now you're going to craft this in long format, anywhere from 150 to 250 words, say. But keep in mind that when you deliver it, it's going to totally depend on the situation and the conversation. You want it to come across as very natural. So you're going to cater your response to who the person is, how the conversation has been going, and what it is that they do or what they're looking for. So keep that in mind. It's long format. It's more than just I'm a designer and I'm an illustrator. I've got an example here. So it's more like if you are a designer and illustrator. On the digital side, I make web designs, WordPress sites, and graphic designs. But I also create pen and paper illustrations, comics, and paintings. Because I'm so passionate about the arts, I also do behind the scenes work, like applying for grants, writing proposals, doing comic readings, and putting on festivals. See how that was much more thought out and more in depth than just a brief I'm a graphic designer and illustrator? Because you know what that means, but does the person you're talking to know what that means? I can tell you right off the bat, when I tell somebody I'm a copywriter, unless they're in the business, they have no clue what that means. I can't tell you how many times people have asked me to, hey, can you publish my book for me? No, that's a different kind of copyright. You know, or hey, you know, I really need somebody to look at this for intellectual property. Is that you? You're a copywriter. No, you're spelling it wrong too. You're killing me, Holmes. So it's very important that you of all people are able to explain what it is that you do in a clear and concise manner. Okay, you can use this not only for networking or at parties, but also you can use a version of it and put it on your website. Use it in your social media, right? Think outside the box of where else that you might be able to use this verbiage that you're coming up with to describe who you are and what you do. So if somebody comes up to you and says, tell me about yourself, you want to start with this basic setup. And this is the bare bones basic setup. It's I help blank do blank to achieve their goals through blank. Let me repeat that. I help blank do blank to achieve their goals through blank. And of course, you fill in the blanks. And this is a great starting point, but you need to expand. Because if you just rattle that off, you're done in 5 or 10 seconds, right? That's not enough to get you up the elevator. So how do you take it a step further? Well, first of all, you're going to define who you are. What is your title, right? Are you a copywriter? Are you a designer? Are you a media specialist? So define what it is that you do and spell it out. For example, I'm an illustrator who specializes in freehand digital illustrations and vector graphics. Okay, great. That's great. Describe what you do. So go beyond defining it, describe what you do. I help art-deficient movie producers capture attention, generate excitement, and promote movies. So there's your help. And so who you're helping and do what? What are you helping them do? You want to identify your clients, identify your customers, or whoever it is your target audience is. And this is really important because so many people, when they start freelancing, they're like, well, hell, you know, I'll help anybody. That's great, but you really need to hone in on your target audience, okay? What does that person look like? What are their demographics? What are their psychographics, okay? Really dig deep and figure out who that person is. So you would say, my ideal clients are small, up-and-coming filmmakers who specialize in the horror genre and need that added illustrative element to effectively promote their feature film, okay? So it's not just who they are, it's what their goals are, right? And what solution you can provide for their challenge. Okay. And then next, here's what's so important, you guys. You have to highlight your USP. Now everybody knows what a USP is, okay? Explain what is different or unique about you. So in this instance, this fella who's an illustrator who apparently is in the horror genre, he says, I've been a fan of horror films all my life, and that shows in every illustration I create. I'm unique in that I figured out the formula to effectively capture that emotion horror movie producers are seeking. See how he totally fleshed that out? And he did it in more than one sentence. So this is how you can make things go a little bit longer in your elevator speech. Okay. Be sure in your elevator pitch to state what you want to happen next. And of course, you're going to gauge every situation. Is it as simple as, hey, can I get your card and follow up with you later? Or, hey, do you happen to know of anybody who might need my services? What do you want to happen next? State that, okay? It's all part of the art of networking. Maybe it's something as simple as, I'd love to exchange cards and explore more how we might be able to help each other. That's easy enough, right? And you say exchange cards, it's not just giving your card, okay? Because there has to be some benefit for them as well. Everybody's thinking, what's in it for me? So make sure you get their card as well, and then have a genuine conversation with them about what they do. But going back, you're going to create an attention-getting hook. This guy says, have you ever had an exhibit you wanted to promote, but just weren't sure how to grab the audience's attention? This attention-getting hook, you may write last, but then you're going to circle back around, and you're going to put it at the very beginning of your elevator pitch. What is that hook? My hook is, you heard it earlier. Hi, I'm Julie Cortés, copywriter by day, freelance rock star by night. That's my hook. People are like, what do you mean rock star? And then I go in and I explain it, who I do work for, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So you weave in all of these transitions to make it sound more natural. And so it's just going to roll off your tongue. You don't want it to sound like it's rehearsed, but you do want to practice it before you get out there and start using it. The more you practice it, the easier it will come off. The more natural it will come off. It'll be easier for you to present the next time you're in a situation that this would allow for. Most often networking situations, right? So you memorize it, you practice it some more, and so it doesn't sound so rehearsed. And it doesn't have to be word for word when you get out there and give this, right? You can ad-lib, that's totally okay. And I encourage you to do so it doesn't sound so scripted. You know, and then also maybe you're catering specifically to the person who you're talking to. For example, I offer a lot of different services right now. I offer copywriting, proofreading, teaching, speaking, coaching, et cetera, et cetera. I want to know who I'm talking to and how they might be a potential customer for me. Are they looking for copywriting? Are they a new freelancer who could potentially need new training? That's what I want to know, and I'm going to cater my pitch to who it is that I'm talking to, and you guys should do the same thing, okay? Know that your energy is contagious. So inject energy. Inject your passion into this elevator pitch. Nobody wants a boring drone or negative Nelly. Everybody wants to work with upbeat people because energy is infectious. Maybe that's not the right term to use these days, but really, and energy is contagious. That's still not a good word, but you guys know what I mean, okay? But get to a point where it becomes natural, where it can just roll off your tongue and you don't even have to think about it. You keep it casual in the conversation and then allow the other person to explain what they do as well. Networking is not necessarily what's in it for you, but what's in it for them. And here's where it becomes key, because you really want to keep that in mind. How can you be of service to others? Whether you can provide an actual solution for them or not, doesn't matter, because from your own services, from your own work, let me rephrase that, because you may know somebody else who does, right? So if I meet somebody and they're like, oh, you're in advertising, that's great. However, I don't need a copywriter, I need a designer. And I can be like, well, that's great. I know a ton of designers. Let me recommend somebody from the Freelance Exchange or something like that, right? And then I'm still an added valuable resource, okay? I added value to them because I can hook them up with somebody who might be the right fit, okay? Use this in a plethora of scenarios. It doesn't really matter, if it's a happy hour or a coffee meetup, or maybe you go to an event or, a program and you're meeting somebody there. That part doesn't really matter. So next up, let's summarize all of this. We've identified our why. We've determined our USP. We've crafted our elevator pitch. Now you want to be bold. To wrap it all up, you want to be bold in everything that you do. That is the key to elevating your brand. To be bold in everything that you do, to really strategize behind your processes, behind your promotions. Practice these things, become more confident in your delivery, and own it. Really put yourself out there and really watch your freelance business reap all the benefits. If there's anything that I can do to help, let me get my screen up. Please let me know. There's my contact information. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you having me today. And feel free to follow up with questions or to get those checklists from me on how to determine your why, your USP, or your elevator pitch. Oh, yeah. Even the term freelancing is not something everyone is familiar with. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. You know, there's that whole saying, freelance isn't free, you know, or some people think, oh, you work for yourself, you know, that means you must do a lot of work for free, or you do pro bono work. No, there is an educational aspect, absolutely, across the board. Any questions or thoughts? Can I share my marketing plan? I can email me later. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that goes into it. In fact, we just wrapped this up in my class. But for marketing plans, there are 10 steps to go through when figuring that out. You know, a lot of it is, you know, figuring out your target audience, excuse me, going, you know, where they hang out, you know, and then figuring out how best to cater to them through your promotions, whether it's through paid advertising and marketing, or finding cheap or free resources that you can market to them. I'm actually giving a presentation on this next. I believe that's coming up here at 1:30. It's on elevating your brand, and we will talk all about that on inexpensive ways to promote yourself, because I do it all the time. And it's actually pretty easy. And unfortunately, you know, so many people miss out on these opportunities because, I don't know, they're chasing things on Fiverr or whatnot. I'm not really sure. Okay, Freelance Exchange has a question. I love it. Do you recommend practicing your pitch on friends and family first, or strangers to get more comfortable? Well, sure. And even before that, you might want to just practice it yourself, looking in a mirror, you know, and seeing how you react. I know for some people that's really uncomfortable. I'm one of those people. But maybe even try recording yourself here on your laptop. You know, you can use Zoom to do an easy recording. You can use your phone to record a video. Try that and see how it comes across. But sure, you know, yeah, try on your friends and family and see how it goes over. However, also keep in mind that those people may not necessarily be your target audience. And so they may not understand some of the terminology that you're using. So keep that in mind. I always hate that when people are like, you know, oh, I'm going to show this to my, you know, to my dad or whatever and see what he thinks. You know, maybe it's on something that you wrote or you crafted, you know, as a designer. And it's like, okay, this is not designed by committee. They're not my target audience. Are they really going to understand, you know, what the point is here? And more often than not, they don't. But it may be different for an elevator pitch. So anyway, anything else, you guys?
That's really great feedback, because I feel like when you are practicing with like friends and family, like you said, they might not understand like what you do or how you're targeting like your audience and stuff. And so I feel like the recording yourself is a great tip, definitely. And practicing on complete strangers or people that you would like to have as your clients, because you can get a sense of like how you feel about your pitch, and then maybe go back and revise it.
Yeah, I'm constantly revising mine, you know, just always making it better, thinking of different things that I can add in there or tweak, you know, just little nuances that you can always improve upon, for sure. Very good. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm seeing your comments, so you're welcome for presenting. Thank you so much for coming on board here and joining in the Freelance Focus. If you have any questions or if you want those checklists, again, feel free to reach out. Here, let me drop my website in here. Whoops, that's .com, if y'all get the, you get the gist. Anyway, feel free to drop me a note, and I will be sure to send you the information. So thank you all so much. You have a good rest of your morning, or wherever you are, evening.